Two airmen saved a local man's life while snowboarding in Japan. Happy Good News Friday, everybody! We made it another week. The weekend is nearly here, and we have some good news ready to send you off. This story is brought to us by Airman First Class Patrick Boyle, and it takes place on February 1st when Senior Airman Max Weinstein and Chris Carocchio were at the Keto Gogan Ski Resort enjoying their day off on the slopes. I probably mispronounced every word there that are names, so I apologize. They were on a remote part of the mountain when Weinstein spotted a hole in the snow and warned Carocchio to watch out, but then he noticed something. He was going away from the hole when he looked back and caught a glimpse of something, but he wasn't quite sure what, so he checked it out. At the bottom of the hole, which was a tree well, was a man standing on his toes, desperate to get out. For those unfamiliar, tree wells are created when branches of a tree prevent snow from piling up underneath them, creating a hole. They're very dangerous and people can and do die in them. If you get stuck in one, you basically have to climb out, which is a lot harder than it sounds and can leave you buried, or dig out, which is also a lot harder than it sounds. When they came upon the man, he was speaking Japanese, but they realized he was in some pretty big trouble. After an untold amount of time trying to free himself, he was exhausted and sweating from all the effort, leaving him at risk of hypothermia. Luckily, the two airmen were experienced snowboarders and came prepared with a rope and other equipment. They lowered the rope to him, which was barely long enough to reach, but after 15 long minutes, they finally managed to get him out. They accompanied him to the base of the mountain where he was reunited with his friends who were pretty happy to see him. Before we cut loose, we also wanted to give a shout out to the South Carolina National Guard for their firefighting efforts in the state. If you didn't know, the area has been experiencing some wildfires, but the Guard is out there doing what they do. That'll do it for this week's edition of Good News Friday, but we'll be back next week. And if you have anything that you think we should talk about then, go ahead and send it to my email at kyle.gunn@taskandpurpose.com. Until then, you can go to taskandpurpose.com to read all of our stories and follow us here for more news by and for the military community.